we've learned about alternative coverage, it's time to put that into action. So you're going to take the topic that the spread has been assigned to you. So you have a spread that you already made about a specific topic that's been assigned to you. And if you don't remember what that is, go check your Microsoft Teams chat. That same topic, you're going to create a new design. So we're going to go create design on Canva. So log into your Canva account. And remember, we're doing a custom size down here at the bottom. So you can choose custom size. And you're going to make it 18.25 inches by 12.25 inches. All right. Once you're in here, you can, again, if you want to, go to elements and do a line that is rotated. So you can rotate it up and down to 90 degrees and put that in the dead center of your spread. That way you know where the gutter is and where the binding would be. Okay, so this time around, when you create your spread, I do not want you to use the same design. So your dominant element should not be in the same spot and should be possibly a different size. But I don't want you to use pictures. So instead of going to photos and finding photos, we're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to look up shapes. So I'm in elements and I'm looking up shapes. I'm then going to grab the first square that pops up. This first square you can adjust to be a rectangle by going to the sides and dragging in and out and doing whatever you want to create that, and then you can resize it. So I want you to think of like, how will your picture look and where will it be aligned for your dominant element? And if you want it to like bleed off the edge of the page and come into on the page like this, you can. Now, I would suggest changing your color to something that's a little bit more easier to look at, like a yellow or a green or something that's not just dead black. Okay, so once you have your dominant element on here, remember that creates your eye line either on the top or the bottom. So I'm going to keep this center eye line clear so I can create modules. Your job this time is to create a design with only boxes. So I'm going to take boxes to create pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and create, a small module down here that has a bunch of pictures, and you can just copy and paste and realign here. Maybe this one goes inward and is a little bit taller, right? And then I can create another one here. And what I would suggest is staying in the rule of odd numbers. So see how there's 3 here and my center point is kind of here. I have 3 things I want to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and align that over here roughly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these pictures, but I'm going to have a mod here. This is a mod of one topic about my subtopic. So like, let's say my topic is about pets, okay? I'm going to use an alternative coverage mod to cover pets. So what I'm going to do is choose one of the pets or one of the alternative coverage options to create a subtopic about pets. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do a versus mod. So instead of my 3 pictures being side by side like this, I'm actually going to bring this one over and have this one be down here. I'm going to create another photo over on this side and maybe have like 2 or 3 photos over here, depending on what I'm working with. And you can use your arrow keys to nudge around. And what I'm going to do is a versus mod where I do dogs versus cats, because people are very, very particular about dogs versus cats. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that. I'm going to go to the bottom right, and you have a zoom option right here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in at 100% just so I can see things at 100% here and scroll around. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to first watch my spacing. So I'm making sure that like my spacing between my pictures here is the same and over here is same. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add text in here and make this a mod. And I'm going to design the module. So I'm going to go grab a heading and I'm going to do like cats right here and resize that down. Normally a module heading is going to be about 45 in font size, not like a 68 or 70, because they're smaller and are not about your main story. So I'm going to do cats, and then I'm going to do dogs over here. And if I wanted to, you can get creative. You can make it like all caps, right? depending on what you want to do, whatever feel you're going for. And I'm going to go ahead and then I am going to use a really big verses. And this is where you can kind of get crazy with your, good with your design here is you can incorporate different font sizes to create that, cats versus dogs. And then let's say I'm going to go ahead and put in some text here, right? So I need the cats versus the dogs section. So maybe I go in here and I use a box to showcase the cats versus the dogs. So I'm going to go ahead and change the background color of this to be like a green so I can see it. It's a really big square. I don't need it that big. And I'm then going to go ahead and arrange this to be behind. So what I'm looking to see is like, what are you doing to showcase cats versus dogs or a versus mod? Well, you need to show one opinion versus the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this square behind everything and resize it a little bit, maybe make it a little bit taller so I can talk about cats versus dogs, right? And then I'll add some text on top of it. Remember, text should be like size 10. That's how big text is in our book, like minimum, right? And I can do, text about cats. And then maybe I go over here and I do the same kind of square, but this time it's about the dogs. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a slightly different green to show cats versus dogs, right? So what you're doing here is you're designing a module about this topic that would then be able to showcase pictures, but also talk about cats versus dogs. And if you need to, don't forget, you can go to Lorem Ipsum and you can get dummy text right here. So I'm going to generate a paragraph here and copy and paste that in and resize. But keep in mind, if I bring in a whole paragraph like this, I'm really doing a paragraph versus a paragraph. So what if I thought differently and maybe I wanted to do a list, right? Like reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Like, why are people getting these cats versus dogs? Why do they think they're better? And I can like align those to the left, right? So you can think about like, what are you doing that's going to be not paragraph form, but more a readable format that people will actually want to read, right? And maybe you even do another subheading where you make it smaller, and then why are cats better, right? And you can go pretty small with this, like 18, 16, something like that, and align it. Don't forget you've got tools up here, so like I can change my line height, all those kinds of things. But essentially what I want to see is I want to see a whole spread about a topic, your topic, but with only alternative coverage modules. So when you go to zoom out, you're now seeing what it's going to look like with that module down there. Granted, the yellow is pictures, so you kind of have to see past the yellow, right? If I wanted to, I can make these all gray if that's easier for you to see, and you can move stuff around. But I want you to think of an actual topic about yours, a subtopic about your topic that you can make a whole mod about, and what would that look like. But I want you to do a mod for your feature element, so to go with your dominant element, and then at least 2 other mods on your spread. And don't forget that you can share it, and you can do a copy link and then share that link with me, which I'd like you to do right now.